Welcome back, everybody, to WealthWise. It's me, your host, Jordan Kimmel. And as we've done since the segment started, we brought in some of the top investors, some of the top money managers in the world. Today, it's a special treat for me. This is my brother and sister, Kimmel and Candy Kantor, who've been partners now for over 40 years with RK Bridal. They're getting set to retire. It's an amazing story, and we wanted to capture it and share it. So, Reed and Candy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Well, let's think back, guys. We all shared bedrooms. We lived in an apartment above mom and dad's original store, RK Boutique, which was a tiny little sliver. I remember, one of their old top, clients or customers was Ann Mira from Mira, from the comedian, and they'd have Ben Stiller sitting at the chair. They'd say, "Go say hello to Ben. He's their son." Those were a long, long time ago. You started with a little sliver of a company. 4 locations later, you're literally the size of a college gymnasium. And I want to talk about the route, the start. So, who wants to start off a little bit?
Well, I can kind of start off. RK Bridal was, as you said, started off as an RK Monograms, where our parents actually started doing monogramming on sweaters. And those were the days when everybody had their clothes monogrammed, their towels monogrammed, and it was a successful small business. And as we grew up being, as you say, above the store, we were actually in the building above the store. But we all found that that was like you came home there first and then went upstairs. Always came down to say, hey, we had a phone that rang upstairs to the intercom, and we were all part of the kind of the business. But Candy and I grew into the business as we grew up, being more and more part of, hey, a carry on of mom and dad's business. And we, I think, made some major changes along the way. As we were in the business, mom had gotten sick, and Candy and I, basically bought the business. And as we saw the tides changing with the dynamics of where the manufacturing was being done, all the ready to wear companies that we were carrying said they're not going to go to China, they're not going to go anywhere but here. And they decided to retire. And a visual thing came to my head and said, hey, we better make a change here. Otherwise, we're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be closing. And we, at that time, were doing a little bit in and out of little summer dresses with Jess McClintock. And we found that, hey, you know what? They were, at that time, a successful bridal company, along with their, as everybody would know it, summertime dresses and party dresses. And I decided, hey, let's try putting in a few bridal gowns to see if things would make a change. And we put it in the window on Friday, and Saturday morning, a young lady came in and bought that gown. That was, in some people's minds, they would have said, we're done. Hey, that was a great sale. Congratulations. We were normally at that time selling pants for $36. That gown was $375. And I was like, wait, could have been successful in saying, hey, we did it. But at that point, I changed the store, and Candy had her store on the east side. And we both combined ourselves to start to work together. And as business changed, we grew out of that location. And I remember when we were moving from that location, we actually were moving down the block to a 2,000 square foot store. And moved every we moved everything in
Shopping carts.
hours, and we sat on the floor and we looked and we said, this is our forever store. And we sat down in the middle of the floor with a couple of friends who helped move, and we this is it. And within 3 years, we were falling out of the walls. The racks were coming down. Comically, we had a part where we're so busy, we had to hang a curtain across the store so people can go on and try, because we never anticipated having that many brides. And, it all stems from, hey, we grew up in customer service. We did not grow up being born into the bridal business. And as it is, we grew and went from that 450 square foot store to 2,000 to 8,000. And as you mentioned, we kind of moved into a 34,000 square foot location, and there's a lot of room to run around. And so we were and still are having a great time. So no matter where the market looks like, bridal is still very strong. It's got to have heart to want to run the business and be in the business. And at this point, Candy and I have looked at each other and, said, wait a second, we have wrinkles. We have grandchildren. We didn't have any of that before. And 40 years, it's time to say, let's retire and go out the right way and do it with a big smile on our face. And we're both smiling. And
Right.
that
Well,
time,
let's talk about this, Reed, because it's really an amazing journey, and I want Candy to share that. We're going to go back and go through a couple different steps, but I remember as you were starting to grow, all of a sudden The Apprentice was filming in your store, and Donald Trump show, and I do believe that you even had Good Day America, maybe. But what has happened right now is you guys have one of the largest and most beautiful stores in Manhattan on Billionaires Row on 56th Street. And Candy, share with us a little bit. You've shared with me that you get to work and help brides and people in one of the most exciting and best times of their lives. And,
You
and
know,
it's your responsibility to make sure it happens. The dress is early, the dress is fitted. Share the kind of joy of helping all those brides for all those years.
well, it's very interesting about us. We are by appointment now. We started that after COVID, and we love doing this because we're not crammed. We don't have 40 brides waiting at 9:30 in the morning, try to get in a fitting room. So now we can actually spend the time with these brides, which is wonderful. And they come in, they sign in, they're excited. We look at them, they have pictures. We know we've already sized them up. It is like the most fulfilling feeling. We just had 3 brides in this morning, came in with one look, left with another look. It is
Right.
so exciting. You hear about their venue, you hear about their family, you become part of their family. They bring their friends into the store. It's not about the money, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the minute our sign went up that we said we were retiring after 40 years, I just had a bride in 2 weeks ago that bought a gown from us 38 years ago. She came in, we've done 3 of her daughters. She walked in with her last daughter, and we sat there and hugged. And she said, should I send you that picture from 38 years ago? I said, definitely, but send me these 4. This is the kind of feeling you leave. They become part of your family. I've been invited to weddings. I've gone to a wedding or 2. Like you said, we did The Apprentice. It was something we had never done before. It was wild. We did the first Apprentice with the college kids, and the Donald sat outside in a car, and we weren't supposed to talk to anybody and tell them how to sell dresses. So I took one of the college boys outside and I explained to him to ask the sizing. It was so funny. And across the street in a limo, the window goes down and I see a finger come out and go, no, 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 no. And I back in. So, we learned about that. We did Martha Stewart, which was a really interesting kind of show. We have really, we've been everywhere. This is a bittersweet end to something that's been actually going on, Jordan, for, I'm going to say 74 years when Mom and Dad started. We've only been doing it 40. This is
Only 40.
This is only 40. But
Well,
it's been
this is a
joyful
celebration here, Candy. This is really something,
It really
beautiful
is.
grandchildren. It's time to do other things. Before we take a break, and I want to just kind of share something. Reed already brought it up, but I want to go back and we're in a world right now where people pretend they are something. This what we call the say do ratio isn't 100%. People don't do what they say. You guys have done something different. It's blocking and tackling, and you have to deliver the dress You have to deliver it on time. And Reed's always talked about, the customer service, making brides and sometimes the whole family, because you guys fit the whole family, the bridesmaids, touching things once, not making mistakes to do things 3 and 4 times, because with the volume of what you've done, you don't have the luxury of time to redo things. So Reed, share a little bit, about, your insistence on high quality and customer service, which I think has driven you for 40 years.
Well, as I said before, it's all about customer service. Like Candy and I were not born in bridal. Some people are born into bridal and take over a parent's business. We learned customer service. It was how to take care of the customer. Don't look at the dollar, look at the customer and make sure that from the beginning to the end, everything goes right. If there's an issue that pops up, make sure you handle it. Don't dog it out to somebody else and point it and blame somebody else. It's our business, it's our customer, it's their wedding. It is a sensitive time for them. Whether or not they walk in and they go, "Oh, I've got a big problem." No, it's not a big problem. You'll make it a big problem, but we're there to make sure it gets handled, taken care of properly, and they get to walk out with a smile and get to walk down that aisle. And for us, that is what business has been about. I get in the store when I'm in there at 5:30, quarter to 6 in the morning, and I leave at 7 o'clock at night. We have phones that ring our homes, that get answered even up to 9 o'clock at night. And we're all about customer service. It's not, the 7 o'clock and the phone gets turned off. It's customer service, and that's what bridal should be. And I guess that's what every business should be in right
It
now.
should be.
Everyone's
Everyone should be. You're
yeah,
100%. Reed, what we're going to do is we're going to take a real quick break, but we're going to go over, kind of more steps from the little sliver on Broadway and 83rd to probably the largest bridal facility in Manhattan, gorgeous on Billionaires Row, and the journey there has been fantastic. I'm so proud of what both of you have done. You've become the biggest sales or distributor of many different bridal lines. It didn't happen by accident. But we're going to take a real quick break right here. We'll be back with my brother and sister, Reed and Candy, and we'll talk more about the growth of RK Bridal, how it really happened after a real quick break.
You make me sparkle, you make me tingle. Even the stars are brighter when I'm with you. And when I surrender to a tasty kiss or two,
Martini and Rossi Iced Tea.
you make me sparkle. Yes,
Make the moment sparkle.
And welcome back to WealthWise. It's Jordan Kimmel, your host, and we're on with Reed Kimmel, Candy Kantor. This is my family, brother and sister, towards the end of one of the greatest retail runs in Manhattan. Candy said it's about almost 80 years combined with mom and dad, and then what you guys have built out. But, I want to go back now to the entrepreneur side, and you guys had to have the entrepreneur side in you. Reed, before you even did what you're doing for the last 40 years, you got a security license before I did. I think you had a real estate license. You had all kinds of interests. But one of the things that happened in adaptation, Reed, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't want to overstate it, was one of the first businesses to ever go online and sell online and ship internationally. This was when the internet just started. You were sharing with me that some bridal manufacturers saying, "What are you doing? You can't do this." You were literally one of the first in any industry to sell online. Back me up or correct me if I'm wrong.
well, you're kind of
You're
right.
right.
You're right. One of the funny things is that we were on 82nd Street on the corner, and the phone started ringing and people were calling from all over the country. This is before the internet even came along. And there was a woman by the name of Joan Hamburg, and she wrote for Family Circle. And she was the go-to person to ask questions about fashion, where to go get it, where to find it. And she wrote an article that I think I still have somewhere, laminated, that she wrote RK Bridal. And people were calling from all over the country and they were placing orders. And at that time, it was a fax machine with the little roll that comes up and you print them up, and they were coming through like crazy. I'd walk out of the office and come back, and there's like 10 pieces of paper laying on the floor, and you're like, what's going on here? Then when the internet came along, I saw there was an advantage. And one of the comments I said to pretty much everybody, if you don't have a website within 2 to 3 years of when it first came out in the late 1990s, you won't be in business anymore. I mean, it basically gave us that ability to become global. And I worked hard to get it going and kept changing the website, building it, putting things up, even getting, a lot of comments from manufacturers. Don't do it. You can't do that. Why are you doing it? You're going after everybody's customer. And I said, yeah, that's where this market is at. And we just kept going and going and going from there. So I kind of have to go back and, hats off to Joan Hamburg. She was really got us on I guess that list of call, go to, and that shocked us. And we've grown ever since. And, now it's become everyone shop online. But the one thing that's changed about shopping online, we've always carried quality manufacturers, where now when you go online, it's not quality anymore. It's just the dress. They show a pretty picture and it shows up and it's tissue paper. So it's like, hey, one of the things that does happen in this world, the internet is great and it's kind of lousy. But as far as when customers walk in the store, the first thing that they get to see is a brightly lit up store with beautiful gowns everywhere. And they walk in with one idea, and as Candy said, their mind is just blown away by how many gowns that they can walk in and see. As most bridal stores, they'll have 10 gowns up front. We have, at that point, almost 2,000 gowns sitting up front. Amazing. Going, which one do you like? And they're like, oh my God. So that's what RK Bridal has grown.
And you know what I love? What I love also is that sometimes the girls will place their, appointments online and they'll come in the store and we have no idea where they're coming from. And a lot of people travel internationally. We get stewardesses and people who are in for the day. They come in, buy their gown, and we ship it to them at home. And as far as Sweden and Australia, and we never get to see these girls except in pictures again. But they always leave, they always write nice things, they always send us wonderful pictures, and we get to experience all different things with them. And they're not local brides all the time, but it's word of mouth, and they find us.
Word of
and
mouth.
I think that's been great.
It's
great for us.
reputation, it's delivery. And I want to bring up another point too. We live in kind of a callous world, if you will, where sometimes it's dog eat dog. People get laid off in the middle of the night. They get they're all of a sudden their computer card doesn't work to get into the building. What you described when you sat down with your entire team and you built a great team over time, but that they were literally crying, and not crying because they could all get a new job. Everyone needs to hire employees. But I think what you built there was a culture that became a family. And you talked about they're all on a group chat together, and all these years of growing together, getting to know their kids, and you've been more than employers. You've been kind of, in many of the relationships I know, mom and pops to some of your employees. It's a great story.
Well,
Definitely.
Sorry to say, we are a brother and sister shop. We're not a corporate. We are still brother and sister we've never fallen into the corporate structure, and we treat people, our employees, like human beings. So it's like, hey, if they've been with us long enough, they kind of know we do care. This, I know that when I sat down in front, and it was who was going to make the speech and explain to the girls that we were retiring. And I sat down, leaned forward, and I said, this meeting is really going to be about letting you know that we're retiring, and went on and explained what's going on and everything. And I heard the sniffles behind me, and that was Candy.
I cried. I
So-
I
cried.
understand you were both crying, and there's nothing wrong with the pride.
I
and
love
feeling
the
you had.
girls who work with me.
I
I
love
love
it.
what they've helped us build, and it's been a team. We work together the whole time we're doing it. If I get emotional, I will get emotional, and I don't want to get emotional now because I love what I do and I love the people I do it with. I
Well,
couldn't do this
it
alone, and neither
shows.
could Reed.
It shows. And
So,
so I want to get into two other things before we kind of wrap up. Is, Reed said, one of you said it's not about the money, but the money did come in. You've never changed, remain humble. Reed always helping out, people from, I think all walks of life that have come in to do work in the store. And you both have that in you. I know that over the years, part of it is taxes, but part of it is heart. You've been very good on the charitable side with inventory. And now the one thing you haven't done, you've gone from a sliver to a bigger, to this unbelievable Coliseum, which you have now. The one thing you haven't done is retire. And I know that there's about a month or so left. That's all there is. And there's about $1 million of inventory of dresses. You're going to walk away with none of them, right? And you've shared you're going to
right.
hold one of the biggest sales. It's not a giveaway. People will, but they're going to come in and be amazed at what they can walk away with. This is the last $1 million of inventory to come through RK Bridal. An opportunity to help more people. How do you feel about what I'm saying right now?
Well, the interesting thing is I'm not that good on social media. I've had a little help from my daughter, who's been absolutely wonderful, and I put it up on Instagram. And we really, exactly what you're saying, we want to help the girls who can't afford a big dress, but we have that dress. So we started a sale that gowns can start at 200 and go to 1,800, which were originally like 1,000 to 5,000. And we are helping them do it. Reed had a group come in of prom dresses. We gave away, I don't know how many, we gave 100, 200, 300 dresses away. They picked them up. I mean, those are donations because people have done for us and helped us do this. So we're at the point now where we want everyone to get a gown that they can afford and look gorgeous in it. So we have now started this incredible sale, and they can just book it online, the appointment, and come see us. We want to help them, get their dream.
It's truly a great story. And I want to kind of wrap up with a story that Reed has shared with me over time. Reed's got a big and sentimental heart. I don't really know the name of the story, Reed, but you've shared about this traveling salesman who worked for years and years, just kind of helping people, and kind of died. And no one really thought anything until the day of there it is, the
It's
day of his funeral, where 20 or
the whole
30,000 people, all the
no,
town's
the
neighborhood
whole
showed
town.
up.
Right. It was a story that I read many years ago in Reader's Digest, Who Mourns for Herbie Worth. And it was a touching story, and something that you look at in life and you say, you know what, we'll all be someone who's spoken of in the future. And you want to make sure that whatever you've done as far as your life, your business, your career, that it was all said in good. And
Right.
there was nothing that someone said, oh, backstabber or whatever. I look at our business and I go, we've done everything we possibly can to make everybody happy. And we're in a happy business. Understand, bridal, you can't get in to a happier business. So that's why when Candy says she's happy what she does, I love it. I don't know what I'm going to do after, but I know that lately I've been outside planting flowers and going, hey, garden. I got it. My wife was like, stop doing that. Stop. I go, no, you know what? The garden of Bridal is going to be the garden in my backyard. And I've, like Jordan has said, we've moved 3 times. This is our 4th location. I know how to move. I don't know what retirement will be. But one interesting thing, brides are coming in and they are still placing orders that are coming in after we've actually closed the store, because they go, you know what? I want to get my gown through you guys. You guys have been so good that I will get my gown, and when it comes in, you'll ship it to me. So we're still taking orders, but we're looking forward to making sure those racks are empty and we have happy brides wearing them.
So we need to wrap it up. We're running out of time, but again, you have an entire family, a network. Everyone is incredibly proud of what you built, how you've helped. And I wanted to capture this, and I want to have one more goal with this, is to perhaps have a gigantic traffic jam on Billionaires Row at RK Bridal for this $1 million inventory that's got to go. And I'm just incredibly proud of both of you and what you built and what you've done. And we have billionaires on this show, you know, some of the top money managers, some of the top business people. I don't know if they have anything above what you guys have delivered. And so thanks for what you've done, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you, Jordan.
Love you.
Thank you.
Love you too, and congratulations. It's Jordan Kimmel from WealthWise with one of, I'm sure, going to be my favorite shows. We'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
Thank you.